All right, again, we talked about meta descriptions mattering because click-through rate is becoming, and it already is, a big factor. And click-through rate, guys, is CTR. So CTR means click-through rate for you newbies. Thank you, Tina, for the cute little picture of the baby. So why does this all make such a difference? Are you guys ready for the big aha moment? Let me know if you guys are all ready for the big aha
Oh
moment.
yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
Let's go back. And we're back. Why? Because two algos are now beating as one. And if you want to put in the chat box, what the hell does that mean? Or you don't know, or you think you know what that means, please let us know. So I want to give you guys a little bit of warning because I'm going to show you something that just might blow your mind. So if your mind gets exploded, sue me. I've got good lawyers. The big aha moment is organic rankings now have direct correlation with map rankings, especially the top 3 results. Let me restate that again. Your organic rankings have direct correlation with your map rankings, especially the top 3 map results. Now, Anne, any
Yes.
thoughts on that? Have you ever seen that or heard of that before?
I have. My head is kind of blown, the back of my head has kind of exploded because I'm going through my different scenarios with all of my clients, and I'm thinking immediately what can I and do I need to do with that. But for the top 3, um, because all of this, it's, in other words, all of the map packs are all going to 1, 2, 3, and that's how they're doing it.
No, let me explain. I want to make sure I'm very crystal clear on this, guys. Okay, and if you're watching this as a recording, like I hope you're like in a way excited because this is kind of like so let me give you some history, guys. 2010, that was like Google Places or Google Business Center, whatever the hell they called it back then. And basically, all you had to do was verify your listing, throw up 30 citations, get about 5 or 10 reviews on different sites on the web, and bam, you'd rank. And it was like printing machine. Like you could customize the categories. There's so many things you could do, and it was fun. Well, as Google's evolved their algorithm, they've evolved with Panda and Penguin with like the regular search engine results, right? So when we do a search term for, let's just do Phoenix for dental, right? And I want to find something that triggers a 7-pack is really what I want to find. So let's go dentist in Phoenix. And I haven't researched this guy, so I'm just going to see and look at it's kind of interesting what I'm saying. Like you kind of said, are they going to 3-packs? Well, in some instances, that looks like they really are. And something that's changed in the local search engine results lately too is Google's kind of given a push or a boost back to directory sites. Like we're seeing a lot more Yellow Pages and Yelp listing sites. Here's
Mantra's coming up. Yeah.
white pages, right? Like stuff
Yeah.
that basically almost never really used to show up before, right? So here you're seeing like an Arizona Dental Association. So this used to be all like pretty much local businesses. So now basically what Google's kind of telling you without telling you is if you want to rank here, you better have bigger authority than Yellow Pages and White Pages. So why is Arizona Family Dental here, right? So it's kind of interesting. This is probably not a good example. So maybe they're already shifting the algorithm again. So let's see if we can find a better. Let's do Dennis. And of course, now we get just total generic stuff with Wikipedia again. All right. So locksmiths in Phoenix, Arizona.
There you go.
Yeah, and seeing this is not another good example, because look, in this instance, what should happen? So let me explain. This is an aberration, is what I'm calling it. And again, this is this could be something that's been the case for the last 6 months, and now it's already evolving again. This is why it's like I'm real transparent with you guys. But typically, there's a strong correlation. When I mean the top 3 results, typically there's a strong correlation as long as everything is in place the way it should be, right? So if you have like fractured citation listings or inconsistent NAP, this could cause an issue, okay? And I'm going to tell you why I think, and I'm going to test this out. So I'm personally going to test this. I'm going to make a bet that I can get this listing integrated into this pack in the next week, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. But in the meantime, I think I know why it's not included in here. And this is probably another cool thing that I should probably show with you guys right now. So I will, because you guys are awesome. Okay, so the top 3 results are this company, Metro, Eagle, Advanced. Now, what has happened since the Pigeon, right? Since the Pigeon update, which is where Google kind of updated the local SERPs, right? Back in 2010, local had its own algorithm, and these pages down here have what is like your traditional algorithm. And what Google's done after the Pigeon update, and I predicted this a long time ago, which is why most of our clients didn't feel any effect when that changed. In fact, they had higher rankings and better results. Because if you do good local SEO the right way, then you'll get a good organic benefit as well without having to build a whole bunch of private blog network links and backlinks, right? Because those are all cool, but you don't necessarily need them. So if I look here at this #1 listing, Metro Lock and Safe, right? The #1 result is Yelp, super authoritative listing, right? Directory. Our client's website. Now, in the #2 spot, Eagle Locksmith. And here's their website, right? So there's a strong correlation between this organic rank and the map rank, right? Metro Lock and Safe is here in this spot, and they're in the #1 spot. So I'm guessing, I haven't analyzed this in all detail, but my guess is they probably have more citations. Maybe they have more reviews in other places on Google, right? We could go look at their title tags and all things of that, but I just want to show you guys the correlation. Okay? Advanced Lock Services is here in the C spot. And interestingly, they're not in the top in the top organic results, which is a little bit of an aberration, guys. But I want to just kind of establish that. So let's pick a different city. Let's go chiropractors. And guys, give me a niche that you're in, man. Like I hate just randomly picking crap out. Please give me like a niche that you.
Who's in the legal niche? Who said he was willing to show the page, by the way. I'll tell you who that was. That was Clint, I think. Here's one, Advanced Edge Pensacola Marketing Company. So that's a marketing company. And somebody also talked about a legal client earlier.
Let's just do marketing companies. What was the city?
Pensacola. There you go.
Okay. So we have Appleyard, Coco Design, Duncan McCall, and here we have...
The name of theirs is Advanced Edge Pensacola Marketing Company.
I just want to use this as an example of this correlation between organic results, right? So here's Appleyard Agency, #1. They're #1 in the organic. Coco Design is number 2. They're number 2. There's Duncan McCall, right? So the top 3 organic spots are pushing up here, and even in this instance with IdeaWorks, it's a 4th spot. Now we go to Imagination Unlimited, and now it starts changing. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
Right, Clever Orgy. Oh, sorry. I think that's better. Clever Orgy. You should just, if you're watching this, Clever Ogre, change your name, because I think mine's better. So, Clever Ogre, not Clever Orgy. That's what I'm gonna call web jam sessions from now on. Come join our web orgy. So if I just offended you, kiss my butt. I'm a rock star. I can do it. Dory's got my back. Right? So here, in this instance, Imagination Unlimited, all right, is in that E spot or the 5th local spot, but it's ranking down here in much lower organically. So now that we know that, guys and girls, and I want some feedback. Are we getting any feedback on this at all, Ann?
Yeah, you're having some people answer the question, some people saying you rock. Then as you ask a question, like Kim put in Ottawa Roofing, just to kind of follow that. But see right there where you are, do you see the MMI-net, Pensacola Advertising Agency? I wonder, so we don't see Advanced Edge on here anywhere. So I was just wondering where his guy was, if they were on here anywhere. So I don't think they are.
No, and I didn't want to hit I just wanted some area, guys, of where we can kind of, and I think this is a perfect example of this, corroboration or this relationship between organic and ranking in the maps. Now, this is assuming, guys, that you're running on and firing on all pistons, right? But this can sometimes explain why you have a site ranking very well in the maps results, but they don't have tons of citations, tons of reviews. You guys with me? Sometimes Google has all these outliers that you can't always explain, right? But sometimes that's the case because this has such good, strong on-site optimization. It has good backlinks. Right? It has, I didn't say a lot of backlinks. I said good backlinks, right? You can see here. So you were asking me earlier, Ann, why does that site have those site links? Because this is the reward for being the best organic listing.
Yes, but I never saw that in the maps. Where you were, it was under maps for what you were seeing. That's,
And so so why, right? This is because of good on-site optimization. So here's the takeaway for you, Carolyn. The reason you're not showing up in the maps results is because these aren't map results. This just happens to have an integration of a map listing with the #1 organically ranked business. So this isn't triggering maps results, even though it's showing a map result. Does that make sense, Carolyn?
Okay, so you're saying this is how we can see what we're looking at as a map result or just a reward?
Yes. So part of the reason I think that Google is showing this and integrating this with this listing is it goes back to this modifier. So because of that modifier, now if you could go into their map maker listing and you could go in and edit that from a map maker perspective and eliminate that and be like, this is their DBA on file, you could test my theory, and I know you can't do it because MapMaker's closed right now, and you may have trouble getting that edit approved anyway. But my hunch is that if you eliminated CD duplication out of that title, my belief is it would lose the integration with the local result. Now that may not be the case because my hunch is Google thinks you're looking for this brand in Austin, Texas. So here's the branded result. All of it. Make sense?
That's the first explanation I've ever heard that could explain that. You know what I mean? That with that, I can logically see how that might be.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Now that's theory, guys. That's like experience. That's so my wife has a business called BizTuition, Business Intuition. That's my business intuition or my biz tuition, because we're going to make that a lingo of her industry. But my biz tuition tells me, based on all that I know about Google, that's the likeliest theory. Now, I can be totally wrong. It could be, hey, this is the #1 listing, and if you're the #1 listing and we think that it's integrated well in the whole web ecosystem of both algorithms, we'll give you an integrated result.
So I have a quick question. Going with that theory, let's flip it for a minute. So Carolyn's, it's a brand. It's the name of her company, and it's a brand, and I can see how that explained it. Let's say she was in the #1 position. Would you, and she all the way across the board, she was there. Would you have her then add the modifier on G Plus and her GMB to say like CD duplication? Duplicate CDs and print, what would you have her still make the modifier even if she was in the #1 position?
Yes. Well, if she's in the #1 position, so that here's how you're going to supplant them. And the way that only way I can see you supplanting them is you're going to have to organically rank higher. So if I come and look for your result, you're here in the 10th result here. So recommendations that I would make. One, if this is your money term, and this is really where it makes a big difference, it's like the leverage point or fulcrum point in your business, because this is like the money keyword, because you know that's what you need to go after. And I'm so sorry, Tina. Look at that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little ADD here. But like, hey, you know, pigeon with heart, right? 2 hearts beating as 1 with the pigeon algorithm update. So thank you. That's awesome, Tina, for finding that awesome image. Thank you. But going back, sorry, that you're going to have to rank here organically higher. So recommendations is I would change your title tag to read CD duplication Austin, Texas to closer match this keyword. I would make this right here your primary keyword at the front. Okay? Then I might put in DVD duplication. Then I might even go CD and duplication services and have it twice. See if that helps by having the same keyword twice, right? If you can fit it in there. And then put your brand. And then you could test putting keyword front, brand second, and then another keyword stuff, if you will, in here. Now, blah, blah, blah. And Carolyn, I say that with love. Does that really like inspire me to want to click through? Right? So let's go look at, okay, blah, 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 blah. Welcome, blah, I don't even care, right? This one's interesting. They're including a, and again, this is probably Google integrating their own meta description. If it pulls whatever it thinks is relevant meta description data, it can override your meta description. Okay? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, she was just saying it was more to copy what they had.
Okay. Don't copy. When it comes to meta description, don't copy what anybody else has. Be unique, because this won't have tons of relevancy to ranking higher. Obviously, you want to include keywords so that you could get the bolding out of it, right? but I'm going to put something that's going to get freaking attention, right? So what can I put in this meta description that's going to get someone's attention? So what would be a good example? Don't get screwed when ordering large quantities of CDs don't get screwed when buying CD duplication services. We'll tell you the real skinny on on the CD duplication companies in Austin, Texas. And I'm just making this up, guys, off the top of my head, right? But like, look, I'm gonna probably click here. Sorry, but what the hell, right? I probably want to go see what the hell's going on over here.
And I was going to say, just because it's South by Southwest out there, Carolyn, I might even say something like, Austin is the hot spot for music, and we handle and we do more of this than anybody else. I mean, something that's really going to, you know, capture most people that are going to be looking for that. Who is the audience?
I love going always back to basing stuff on fear. We're always motivated more by fear than we are by success, right? So another good example could be only idiots buy CD replication services without knowing these 3 things. And then on your landing page, you better explain what those 3 things are, or they'll feel like they're tricked and they'll bounce, right? So again, I don't know if there's big mistakes that can be made or the 3 questions, but every business has something that I would call should ask questions. Like everybody knows what a FAQ is, a frequently asked question. But you really want to kill it, do SAQs. Put an SAQ section on your website called should ask questions. Here's the questions you should be asking, but because you really don't know anything about what we do or you don't know enough, you don't even know you're supposed to ask these questions. So give those to those people, and they'll trust you, and they'll buy from you. Three questions you should ask before buying CD duplication services. Don't make a big mistake, right? And again, test this stuff, guys, right? Because maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure I do, right? Because here's why. Okay, let's go back to my slide. All right, mind blown. Here's another warning. Watch out for over-optimization, especially with link volume and anchor percentages. And I'm going to hit this back in a minute. Here's my click-through rate slide. There we go. So click-through rate's becoming such a big factor. You want to optimize your meta descriptions because if you can increase the click-through rate of those meta descriptions, you can get a boost in organic results without ever building another backlink. And then when you get a higher organic rank and it maintains the high click-through rate, Google says that's a better experience for our users. Now you build trust and authority from a user perspective, and you have a higher chance of ranking in the local maps pack. That make sense?
Yeah.
So watch out for over-optimization, especially with link volume and anchor percentages. Now, this is my hunch. I go back to a philosophy on this, on what does Google really want. You can go out here, and Carolyn, you can start like turning on different like search engine optimization backlink protocols and just, you know, throw a whole bunch of backlinks up here, right? So if that happens, and this is the #1 ranking site, and you start like opening up your link velocity and start building a whole bunch of links because you want to take them out, it's my opinion that one of the factors Google evaluates, and again, this is pure speculation, is that every industry or niche is going to have some sort of link volume and link velocity parameters. Meaning that if all of a sudden you start building 1,000 links and you had no links before, why? That might be suspicious. And that might cause a Google dance. And once you establish higher link building volumes, you better be prepared to maintain it. Because if it suddenly starts to die off, that's an indication of a lack of popularity from a user experience. If you also go out and build 100,000 backlinks, and the rest of your competitors all have like 500 backlinks, does that look natural?
No.
Right? So it's not about just link building guides, it's about acquiring quality links, right, at a quality pace. And so it kind of...
Do you feel that way about citations also? You look at your competitors' citations and approach that the same way?
No, I'm more aggressive with citation building because I think less people are manipulating that. So could that come into play later on? Yeah. Do I think if you're a brand, like here's a good example. If I'm a brand new business and I go into business, what's to stop me from getting on Yext and putting my stuff into, Google, and then and then putting out press releases about my business, and then like getting citations set up on Chambers of Commerce, things like that. And that's all normal stuff that all small business owners are going to do. Now, will I give it a caveat if you go out and put in some software to say I'm going to go put out link profiles with my name, address, and phone number into forum profiles and article directories and all that stuff? Will it hurt you now? My hunch, my speculation is no, but could it come back to bite you later on as Google's always updating stuff? It could. But I wouldn't be as concerned with throttling or regulating my citation building. But what I would be focused on too, on some level, is continuing to build citations as they become available, because as the web gets bigger and bigger and bigger, there's more opportunities to put citations out on the web. We're going to talk about citations here. Perfect example. Let's just leave that. So, perfect segue, because that's on the agenda, Ann, and you didn't even know. So I'm going to open it up for a couple seconds, guys, because we're already running behind, as usual. Any questions that you guys have about what we just covered?
Actually, there are. Carolyn said, could it be the relation of number of backlinks to the number of visitors? Something that makes sense, perhaps? And Clint gave a link it's a link if you wanted to open it, but it said, so would that explain how mine show when searching local for broader terms? And then he gave you a screenshot. I don't know if you want to address either.
So to answer your question, whenever you're doing anything on the web, think about what Google could possibly be looking for. So could the relation to the number of visitors, could the relation of number of backlinks to the number of your website visitors be something that is of value? So absolutely, right? So here's a great example. Does it make intuitive sense to you that if you publish an article or a blog post or a new page on your site, and then all of a sudden in the next 30 days there's like 800 backlinks built to it, but there's not one Facebook share, there's not one tweet about that page? Does that make sense to you guys? Because think about it. Is it easier to share a page on Facebook than it is to write a blog post and insert a link and link back to that page? Right? So if you don't start doing social signals first, then it's very unlikely that you're probably going to be getting a bunch of backlinks. Right? So again, a good example is, like Carolyn's asking, is if I'm only getting 500 visitors a month to my website, but I'm getting 800 backlinks built to my website every month, does that make sense?
Nope.
Now, can you backlink at a higher and do that and still get away with it? Yes, we've done it, right? So far, I haven't seen any instances where if you get hurt in organic, that you'll get hurt in maps. So if you get penguinized, does it mean you'll stop ranking in maps? No. Could it hurt your maps ranking? Yes. So everything's got to have some level of what I would call proportion to it, right? because obviously Google's got Google has saved and indexed every single search in its existence. So if Google wanted to look what was being searched on 12 years ago at 1:01 p.m. at this specific millisecond, it could tell you what those search terms were. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's supposedly the case, right? But here we have SEO services, and dun-dun-dun, look at that, right? So he's got this one pack here, right? And interestingly enough, right, it's integrated, and so he's doing something really well here, and I'm probably going to spend some time. Whose business is this? This is Clint.
Clint.
So Clint, I'm going to go in and look at this a little bit, because why is it integrating you and putting you here in the third spot, right? Why isn't it integrating? So my guess is they've done a good job here of SEO and have not done as good of a job as you as on the local part. So I'd be interested in looking at like how many more citations that you might have. Maybe you have let me ask you this, Clint, is this site Google Publisher verified and Google Authorship verified? Oh, and this is probably, I was like, where did that come from? And this is probably one of your tools, like, anybody's watching this is probably a tool that he has set up on his computer, and that's why that stuff's showing there. So I'm going to go and look at SEO services, and I need to change it to, what city are we in here? Olympia, Washington. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is always something that is a good idea to do incognito, because obviously this is still a local term. And I'm probably not going to get this. Let me open up incognito, which I thought that's what I was in already. So SEO services. Olympia, Washington. And I can't get a replication here because it knows that I'm not in Washington. So I'll follow up with you on that, Clint, and we'll talk about that more later. We got to get moving on. Okay, guys? And then I think we're good. So let's get back to this.